40 bottles of baby oil and Astroglide all together. And mind you, this is only out of one house, and they got a total of 1,000 bottles from all of the houses. This box right here is the box that Diddy would keep his green stuff in. This is not the wooden box that you heard the Homeland Security agent talk about. That box is actually right here, and this is what contained a numerous amount of different illegal substances. The fact that Diddy had liquid MDMA and liquid METH is crazy. This is how you know this man does not care. He literally had some of this stuff just laying out in the open right next to a $100 bill. Substances on different things. This is the Gucci bag that had a whole bunch of more substances in it that Diddy is trying to say is somebody else's. He had the Homeland Security agent look at a photo that was not shown to the public or other people that were in the courtroom, only to the jury. And he's basically doing this trying to say that somebody else was obviously in a photo with this Gucci bag. This right here is Golden Teachers, and it is a pill form of mushrooms. Diddy had so many weapons with the serial numbers shaved off of them that it was crazy. Like, he had these ones wrapped in a towel. These parts were found in his closet. This one was in a suitcase. Diddy's argument to the Homeland Security agent was really, don't you have weapons in your home? Well, duh, he's an agent, but I'm sure he doesn't have weapons that have shaved serial numbers. He had a whole bunch of 7-inch high heels, and I'm sorry, I'm confused. What girls are coming over to your house without shoes on? Also, things like toys and rope, that vital honey that helps you stay performing. Here's another drawer that was filled with outfits and toys. These are the boots sitting next to Diddy's shoes, where he would have 3 cell phones hidden inside these boots. And I'm confused, like, why are you hiding cell phones in boots? I don't know if this is like a blackmail thing, if this is where he kept these freak off videos, or really what is going on. And last but not least, this is a picture of Diddy's bathroom where he has messages wrote on his mirror with lipstick. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of creepy because these messages don't make sense. I want to know, is Diddy writing this to himself on his mirror in his bathroom? In marker it says, what do you want? And then it says, love you, love Diddy. And then it says, you're a legend. I can't tell what this says, but then it says Team Puff Daddy.
Now, things like baby oil and high heels aren't illegal, but prosecutors say items like baby oil and a lubricant called Astroglide were often used during what they call freak-offs, wild sex parties, where women and male sex workers were involved, according to Cassandra Ventura, better known as Cassie. She took part in hundreds of these events. She told the court Diddy had specific rules about how she should look, even telling her to reapply oil so she would be glistening. But the horrific thing about this is that this baby oil was supposedly laced with drugs.
It's not baby oil. It's GHB. Who has 1,000 bottles of baby oil? If baby oil was such a big part of all these parties and all the things that Diddy did to his victims, some celebrities would have made a joke about it here and there. We would have heard about it. Especially Chrissy Teigen couldn't be paid to shut her mouth. That bitch would have cracked a joke about it, for sure. I just watched this man's TikTok about how it's not a baby oil. It has to be laced with drugs. So as I'm reading the comments, someone said, that's why Jaguar Wright said in one of her interviews at the end, she said, blink twice. Blink Twice was a movie with Channing Tatum. He would spray perfume onto women who would make them forget everything. So then somebody else in the comments said, yeah, and GHB is slippery. So I look up, what is it called on the street? Look at the last one, liquid ecstasy. Side effects that include seizures and comas. It was taken off the shelves or something in like the 60s. What is GHB used for in bodybuilding? Performance enhancement additive. What are the positive side effects of GHB? Feelings of euphoria. What is GHB for parents? Usually available as a clear liquid. It's not baby oil. It just makes sense because why would the feds confiscate oil? And how do you get so many people to comply besides money? You drug them.
Now, what's interesting is that later this week prosecutors are planning to call rapper Kid Cudi to the stand. They say Diddy got jealous and threatening when he found out Cassie was dating Cudi, whose real name is Scott Scuddy. He might testify as early as Thursday, but that's not confirmed yet, and boy, could he have a lot to say?
There are actually 2 charges that fall under the RICO charge that Diddy might be found guilty of just based on Kid Cudi. The government alleged in the early morning hours of December 22nd, 2011, the defendant and a co-conspirator kidnapped an individual at Pow Pow Point to facilitate a break-in and entering into the residence of another person called Individual 1. Multiple witnesses would testify at trial to the events surrounding the kidnapping and the break-in. They are also corroborated by police reports and other records. Approximately 2 weeks later, the defendant's co-conspirators set fire to Individual 1's vehicle by slicing open the car's convertible top. Police and fire department reports extensively document the arson and conclude that the fire was intentionally set. Now, under Diddy's big RICO charge, some of the allegations that fall underneath of it are arson and kidnapping. And just to remind you, to be found guilty of the RICO charge, you only have to prove 2 allegations in total. There are a lot more than 2 that fall under Diddy's RICO charge. And this is a big thing that I've seen people so confused about. Where is the RICO? Every single testimony you hear where they bring up security, assistance, and more, that is your RICO. They are alleging that Diddy used co-conspirators in a lot of different illegal activities, which would make it a criminal enterprise, hence RICO charges. Just like with this stuff with Kid Cudi, where they say Diddy and his co-conspirators, or just the co-conspirators themselves. Now, another crazy thing that I found out, they also plan to use a 911 call that somebody placed when Kid Cudi's home was robbed. And we know his home was robbed on December 22nd of 2011. And we know how Cassie Ventura's mother testified today, and she was talking about how she sent Diddy $20,000 because Cassie sent her an email saying that Diddy was threatening her and Kid Cudi. Cassie Ventura sent this email to her mom one day after Kid Cudi's house was broken into on December 23rd of 2011. And she said, threats have been made towards me by Sean Puffy Combs that he is going to release 2 tapes of me. One on Christmas Day, maybe, or right after, or another one sometime soon after that. He also said that he will be having someone hurt me and Kid Cudi physically. He made a point that it wouldn't be by his hands. He actually said he'd be out of the country when it happens, hence by a co-conspirator. We know 2 weeks after this incident is when Kid Cudi's car would get...
After 4 days of emotional testimony from Cassie, where she described drug-fueled sex marathons, the government is finally calling other witnesses to support her story. Some of those witnesses include Cassie's own mother, who said she saw bruises and swelling after Diddy hurt her. 2 men also testified that they were paid to sleep with Cassie while Diddy watched and gave instructions, calling it sexual choreography.
To his mom, which the defense didn't want to hear from. And a lot of people thought, I wonder why she's testifying. Would it be gratuitous in some way? Would she move the needle in either direction? But she talked about being scared for her daughter's safety and this $20,000 loan. What happened?
So let me get to that in a second, but first I want to read you an email that was shown to the jury as an exhibit in court. This is an email that Cassie sent to her mother and Capricorn Clark, who was one of Diddy's employees.
Under an alias, right?
Under an alias, and yes, here's what she wrote. The threats that have been made towards me by Sean Puffy Combs are that he is going to release 2 explicit sex tapes of me. One on Christmas Day, maybe before or right after, and another sometime soon after that. He also said that he will be having someone hurt me, and Scott Muscudi, you said, Kid Cudi, physically. He made a point that it wouldn't be by his hands. He actually said he'd be out of the country when it happened. So Cassie's mom testifies on the stand. When she read this email, she was physically ill. And of course she would be. This is her daughter. She's scared for her life. So then she said that Diddy demanded that she pay $20,000, as you said, because He was upset that Cassie was with another man, that would be Kid Cudi, and he said, I spent $20,000 on your daughter, so you better pay it back. Now you have Diddy, who at one point was a billionaire, but at this point at least is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and is allowing the mother of his girlfriend to take out a home equity loan to wire the money. He accepted that money, but then he sent it back. Now I want to bring up one more exhibit. There are photos of Cassie with bruises on her body that were shown to the jury, and Cassie's mom said she's the one who took those photos of her daughter when she visited home for Christmas.
It's pretty unbelievable to think about the dynamic of Sean Diddy Combs asking someone for $20,000. The intimation, of course, that he returned it later on once Diddy and Cassie were back together.
The relationship drama between Diddy Cassie and Kid Cudi has become a big part of the trial. Cassie said Diddy saw texts between her and Cody during a freak-off. She claimed he came at her with a wine bottle opener between his fingers and threatened to release private videos and harm both her and Cudi. He mentioned that when we were out of country that Scott's car would be blown up. She told the court he wanted his friends to be there to see it. And the interesting thing is that this week the courtroom was packed. People lined up early in the morning just to get a glimpse. No cameras are allowed, so folks either try to grab a seat in the courtroom or head to the overflow room where they can watch the drama unfold on a screen. According to reporters inside, the vibe is intense. People react out loud, gasping like they're watching a basketball game. This is a far cry from the adoring attention Diddy used to receive. In fact, he probably is trying to get them on his side now.
How you feel about Diddy's appearance in court? They saying that he got all gray hair, his facial hair, his hair is all gray. He got a gray sweater on. Like, how you feel about his appearance?
Well, first of all, he can't use that stuff in court. He can't get that behind bars. So his appearance, you think Diddy wants somebody to see him looking like an old man? He can't do nothing about that because they're not gonna let him dye his hair in jail. So he's going out as natural. He could cut his hair low. You understand what I'm saying? But he can't use any dye. They're not gonna give him no dye to take or dye his hair. That's not a choice. That's something that he has to do. And him throwing signs of the heart and everything like that back to his family and stuff, I don't believe the jurors, like that or even care about that.
Yeah, they reported that he got a Bible with him, like he's reading the Bible during trial.
All that is a front, bro. What happens is that the defense is trying to have him distract himself. So they know it's a possibility that he might break on somebody, break down, or do something. So what they're trying to do, well, read over this, look over this. You understand? So they don't show the real you. Because once the jury find out that's the real him, and he is capable not only beating and threatening somebody and making them have sex, making them go to this place, that place, all over to have sex, then that's when the trafficking part comes in. That's when what she said about him having the guns to go get Suge Knight makes it true, makes it him possessing guns or being able to possess guns being truthful. So when they see all that and all that comes about, that's what's gonna make him get convicted, because they're gonna see his true self.
Gene, though, thinks he's disgusting and that everything Diddy's done will catch up to him.
How you feel about Diddy daughters leaving the trial when Cassie started to testify about all the sexual acts that she engaged in with their dad?
I believe that his daughters had no business up in that courtroom. And I know that they want the jurors to see that he has a family, he has that moral support from them. But see, the prosecution and the defense, especially the defense, had already told Diddy how they was gonna go, because they know their game plans. They know what they're gonna go at and what they're gonna talk about. And they know they was gonna bring those things up. And how dare you have your daughters in there maybe that would be their deterrent for never to let somebody do them like that. No matter how famous they want to be. Maybe that's their deterrent. But for have your kids up there to hear some of the nasty shit that you did, and they know you used to fight their mother, they know that you used to do certain things with their mother. That was one of the craziest moves I ever seen. Very selfish. Very selfish. I don't want my daughters to hear me, how they talk about this girl, talking about how I beat her, how I did this, pee in her mouth, all this. Nah. I heard it was so disgusting that one time they had to walk out.
As for Diddy, he's not just sitting there looking lost, even though he's behind bars. He's locked in taking notes, passing them to his lawyers, and staying alert. It's like he's still trying to control the room, just like he allegedly used to control his empire. Now, let's talk about what happened in court. Two women took the stand this week and dropped bombshells. First up was Dawn Richard, a former member of Danica, the girl group Diddy created. She told the jury she saw Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura more than once. One of the most disturbing moments. She described an argument involving a hot egg skillet. After that, she says Diddy warned her and her friend not to talk, telling them, "Where I'm from, people go missing."
Attacked by Sean and kicked. Did you see more violence by him against Cassie? Often. The government then shows Dawn Richard a picture of Diddy Dirty Money. When were you a member of this group? 2009 to 2011. The incident in 2009 when Sean Combs beat Cassie, where was it? In Sean Combs' LA home. We were recording. What did he do? He was saying, "Where the F is my food?" He grabbed a black skillet with eggs and tried to hit her over the head. Cassie dropped to the ground. What did she do? She was in a fetal position. Then what? Sean Combs was kicking her in the head and the body and then dragged her up to the first floor. Glass was breaking and yelling. I was scared for her and for me too. Did you intervene? No. Did you call the police? No. The next day, what happened? He said it had been passionate and she was okay, and that it would be better if we didn't talk, that people could end up missing. How did you understand that? Death. Diddy's team then yells objection. Then the judge calls a sidebar and ends her testimony for the day. But Dawn Richard will be back on Monday to give the rest of her full testimony against Diddy. But right before they brought Dawn Richard in, they actually had a Homeland Security agent testify against Diddy about when they came and arrested him to take him to jail. So let's go ahead and get into that. The government asked, when Sean Combs was arrested, where did you go? The Park Hyatt Hotel, room 2115, where he was staying. They show a picture to the jury of his hotel suite, and what did you do? We assigned a letter to each room and began to search. What was your role? I took photographs of items and then signed them on the 6051 form. What was found in the closet? They then show a picture to the jury, and it was plastic bags full of Johnson & Johnson baby oil and Astroglide bottles. And you're telling me Diddy is still doing this, knowing that they have already raided his house, knowing that they are about to blow down on him? What was found in the bathroom? Several bottles of baby oil, and they show that picture to the jury. Now the bedroom. What was found in the Louis Vuitton bag? Medication in the name of Frank Black. That is the name that Cassie Ventura said Diddy used as a...
She also said there was another time at a fancy dinner with celebrities like Usher where Diddy ped Cassie in the stomach. According to Dawn, people who work for Diddy, his security guards, record label staff, and even top execs saw what happened. No one stepped in. Nobody helped. Even on the van ride home, when Cassie confronted him, there was silence. The whole testimony is nothing short of bonkers.
Bags of pink powder found in the medicine bottles. And then they showed a picture to the jury of it being found and tested by Customs and Border Patrol. Reading from the slip where they tested it from, the pink powder was found to be K and MDMA in the bottle. And then they actually passed around the physical evidence to the jury. What was found in the black mini backpack? $9,000. Please take the cash out of the bag, and then the Homeland Security agent fans out the bills. Then the government says no further questions, and then Diddy's team starts a cross-examination, and they say, In the hotel room, did you see any bags and clothing indicating that a woman was staying there with him? Yes. And that's where they end the testimony of this Homeland Security agent. And honestly, I don't get Diddy's attorney's question on this because if anything, I feel like it makes it look worse. Because you're saying you are finding substances that Cassie is alleging that he used, and you're also finding all of these bottles of baby oil in a hotel in New York. What's even crazier about this is Diddy's attorney said way back when that Diddy went to New York because he knew that they were about to raid him. So he was turning himself in. He wanted to be closer when they came after him. But yet he has all of these illegal substances, the baby oil and everything, and he knew he was about to.
And she wasn't the only one to speak out. Cassie's former best friend Carrie Morgan also took the stand. She backed up many of Dawn's claims, saying she too saw Diddy physically hurt Cassie and also got hurt herself.
Did Mr. Combs act? He would yell at Cassie. She lost her confidence big time. She lost her spark. Did Mr. Combs talk down to Cassie? Yes, about her looks and who she talked to. Did he contact you looking for her? A lot. Sometimes he would call 50 times in a row. Would any other people call you for him? Yes, Christina Korm or KK. Did you witness assaults? Yes. First in the Hollywood Hills, Ruben was one of his security guards. What did Mr. Combs do to Cassie? He kicked her. What did she do? Nothing. I told Ruben to do something and he indicated that he wouldn't. Then what? We left the house. Cassie and I were hiding by somebody's front steps. And the next time? In Jamaica, I saw him drag her by the hair. I ran back to get my purse and my phone so we could leave. What did you see next? I thought that she was knocked out, and then she got up and she ran into a wooded area. What happened next? There were 2 golf carts in the driveway. I got in one and Sean got in the other. We went in different directions looking for Cassie. Did you find her? Yes, and then we hid in a ditch whispering to each other. What about the incident at Cassie's Comstock apartment? Cassie came back with a hoodie covering her face, and then Sean came and tried to get in, hitting the door with a hammer, and I called D-Rock. And this is after that 2016 hotel incident that Cassie talked about in her testimony. Did he get in? No. And then the police came. What happened? Cassie wouldn't show them her ID. Nothing happened. They left a card. Read this message. Did you send an attachment? Yes, a photo of the card that the detective left. Did Mr. Combs ever assault you? Yes, he hit me with a wood coat hanger and choked me. Where did the hanger hit you? Behind my right ear. What did he express concerns about? Who Cassie was cheating on?
But what's interesting is that Carrie and Cassie aren't friends anymore, and she explained why. Though that part of the story is still unfolding, we also heard from one of Diddy's former assistants that's still developing, but she gave more insight into what it was like behind closed doors working for him.